Hello, the internet of the internet. Welcome back to another One Piece video, and in this video we will be looking at who is the stronger admiral between Kuzan and Kizaru. So in this video we will be looking at some feats and we'll be analyzing Kuzan and against Kizaru. So Kuzan faced Kizaru, who will win in a fight between those two. Who is more stronger between those two admirals? Because last year both of them had big showcase of their power, big showcase, and both of them, have been looking good last year, while Kizaru fought a Yonko in Luffy and Kuzan to fought the legendary hero of the Marine Corps. So who won in a fight? Like the video and subscribe, and guys, I'm telling you guys, you will enjoy my other One Piece video, because I'm telling you, it's entertaining and it is good. So go watch my other One Piece video, go like the video and subscribe. So let's start with Kuzan's and his feat. And Kuzan, with Kuzan and the power scaling of Kuzan, his main thing, and the admirals and the marines, the main power is the devil fruit. So let's talk about Kuzan's haki before we get into his devil fruit, because with the devil fruit there will be a lot of things to talk about with Kuzan, but with his haki there is a small bit to talk with the haki. So let's start with the haki, feats and power scaling of his haki. So we know that when Kuzan to start being a marine, when he enters his early stage of becoming a marine, we've seen that in the flashbacks of Gob and Kuzan. Kuzan did not have his devil fruit. Kuzan did not have a devil fruit, he did not have his ice fruit, and Kuzan was at that point using his hands to fight. And we've seen that Gob was Kuzan's teacher, his master, his Obi Kenobi, and Israeli. So we know that Gob did train Kuzan without his devil fruit. So I believe Gob to train Kuzan the haki, how to use haki, how to understand haki, and we see that Gob is a very good teacher. We see that how he could train Kobe, and he allowed Kobe to have a glow up physically and mentally, and even his power. We see that Kobe did awaken his obvious and haki very early on. And we're seeing that in Egghead Island, the arc where Kobe is in the Pirate Island, we're seeing that Kobe could do honestly impact, which is a weaker version of Gob's Galaxy Impact. That Galaxy Impact could destroy almost half of the island of the Pirate Island. So I would imagine that Gob would train Kuzan in the same way, and Kuzan being a student under Gob's mentor for a longer period of time. I could definitely see Kuzan also having his own forms of impact, and I see Kuzan having amazing haki. And honestly, I believe in my heart that since Gob was younger, Gob was in his prime, he was teaching Kuzan a longer time period without his haki, without his devil fruit. I can definitely see Kuzan being top tier with his haki, and I feel like Kuzan is very underrated with his haki. We've seen when Kuzan was fighting against Aokiji for 7 to 10 days, I believe. Kuzan was giving Aokiji a run for his money and was keeping up with Aokiji. And we've seen that Aokiji got some battle scars from fighting Kuzan, and which that's a use feat, because Aokiji is a low-get type devil fruit, so we definitely know. And since Aokiji is also the current day fleet admiral, and in my opinion, I believe Aokiji is the current pound for pound number one on top of the mountain. I believe Aokiji is the strongest marine currently in the verse at the moment. And the fact that Kuzan could go one-on-one against him, keeping up with Aokiji for multiple days, for multiple hours, and being on the same level, to Inu says a lot, and the fact that Inu have the magma fruit, the lava fruit, and Kuzan have the ice fruit. And we know in Pokemon, fire is good against ice. Fire is strong against ice, and ice is weak against fire. So the fact that Kuzan had a type, disadvantage, and Inu had a type advantage, and the fact that Kuzan could still keep up with Inu says a lot. And we must remember Kuzan is in the same generation as a Shanks, so I believe Kuzan definitely clashed with a Shanks before. Kuzan is in the same generation as a Kaido, and Kaido, Shanks, Kuzan, the three Admirals, Kizaru, Inu, Kuzan are in the same generation. So I definitely see Kuzan clashing with a Kaido, clashing with a King, clashing with a Karakuri, clashing with a Shanks. So I believe Kuzan is top tier with his haki. Now let's get to his devil fruit. This is the perfect way to get to the devil fruit part of Kuzan. Kuzan, you know how I'm saying Kuzan is very underrated with his haki, and he's top tier with his haki because he has trained with God for multiple years. Now, what I say with the haki is, I'm saying is far better with his devil fruit. Kuzan is way better with his devil fruit than his haki. But even though he's way better with his devil fruit, it doesn't mean that Kuzan have bad haki. He's very underrated with his haki, but with his devil fruit, he's really top tier with his devil fruit. Because I believe Kuzan is a awakened devil fruit user, because in Punk Hazard, the fact that Kuzan could turn half of the island into ice, half ice, and never melting, staying in that 10% of coldness, and literally on the other side of the island, the other half of the island is just magma, is on fire 24/7. So the fact that the ice don't even melt next to the fire, next to the lava, says how powerful Kuzan is with his devil fruit. And the fact that Kuzan's devil fruit has potential to be one-shot ability, because Kuzan could just easily freeze you and just do a simple attack on you to get rid of it. Kuzan have one-shot abilities with the ice. He can freeze you for time. And we've seen in Punk Hazard with the ancient giant, there's theories going on, the former ice fruit user to freeze those giants for a long time ago, and the fact that they're still in ice says that they would have one-shot abilities. And the fact that he was confident to go against Whitebeard at Marineford just for a little bit, because Kuzan was the first person to actually go and try to do an attack on Whitebeard, says a lot. And Kuzan is possibly one of the smartest with his devil fruit and having very strong haki. It's amazing. Now his biggest feat is when he fought against Garb at Egghead Island. Not at Egghead Island, but during the arc of Egghead Island, at Pirate Island. I'm yapping at the moment, sorry. But when Kuzan fought against Garb. Okay, so you guys could say Garb is out of his prime, he's 60, he's old, he isn't up there yet, he's out of his prime, and Garb got jumped by the other Blackbeard's crew members, by Kizaru, by the giant, by the other pirates. Like, they are saying that Garb got jumped. So Garb got absolutely jumped for his money. The way they jumped Garb was like Garb owed them some money, but Garb did got jumped. But the thing is, I believe Kuzan was holding back. During the fight between him and Garb, I believe in my heart Kuzan was holding back. And the fact that Kizaru and the other Blackbeard's crew member believe and have confidence in Kuzan to go against Blackbeard, to go against Garb, says a lot about how strong Kuzan is. And the fact that Kuzan was going hand to hand against Garb, and even though it's old Garb, this is the same Garb that went against Raza multiple times. This is the same Garb that fought Rocks, and we see how powerful Rocks is in the current manga, and how Oda is glazing Rock, spoils that how Rock spoils spoil. Go for it. Okay, we see that how Rox defeated an Admiral. We see how Rox was fine talking to Emu, not being scared of Emu. So I believe, me, Jada Star, I believe that Gob is top tier, and even though he's out of his prime, he's still top tier in the verse. So the fact that Gob and Kuzan could have an equal fight, and I believe Kuzan was holding back because I believe Kuzan have a Galaxy Impact move in his arsenal, because it makes sense, because Kuzan was trained with Gob multiple years for a long period of time, more longer than Kobe, and Kobe could have a Galaxy attack in his arsenal and Kuzan don't. I don't believe that, buddy. But I believe Kuzan have a Galaxy, like an impact move in his arsenal. I believe he's awakened, and he did not done any awakened move when he fought against Gob. So therefore I believe Kuzan was really holding back, and I believe Kuzan might be a Conquer Haki user, since the fact that he was supposed to be a Fleet Admiral, and then he left, the Fleet Admiral, he left the Marine. So I believe Kuzan is a Conquer Haki user, and we did not see that against Gob. So I believe Kuzan was holding back a lot from Gob. And when Blackbeard tried to recruit, Kuzan just say, hey, I will fight all of you at once. Blackbeard tried to recruit Kuzan. His crewmates say something, Kuzan did not like it, and he was ready to box them. And before Blackbeard got there, we seen that Kuzan to freeze half of his crew. And by the way, this is a Yonko crew, even though they are, I think they were a Yonko, or they wasn't a Yonko at this point. It's one of the twos. Blackbeard was not a Yonko, or he was a Yonko, but if he was a Yonko, Kuzan was confident to face a Yonko Blackbeard with 2 Devil Fruit, and with his whole crew being there, a Yonko crew being there. Kuzan was still confident in his abilities to fight Blackbeard. So that's what I'm saying, Kuzan is a very underrated character. But now it's time to talk about his co-worker, Kizaru. So you know how we say how Kuzan was holding back against Gob? I feel like the same thing happened with Kizaru when Kizaru fought Luffy the Yonko. But let's not get right into that. Let's talk about from the first time we seen Kizaru at when we first meet Rayleigh. We also seen Kizaru the first time he was introduced to the story. With Kizaru, he's sewn up and he did destroy the 12 or the 13 supernovas, and I can't lie, it was embarrassing that the fact that an old man Kizaru, not old man, but Kizaru can just go out and just destroy the whole supernova, and all of them were scared for their life. You can definitely tell all of them to poop them pants as soon as seeing the Admiral Kizaru sewn up, and they did run for their life. And Kizaru did, I'm pretty sure he did defeat every crew and every supernova there, but then arrest him, because Kizaru is like that, dog. He is like that. But the biggest thing that happened at that arc is when Kizaru declares with Dark King Rayleigh. And here is why it's probably one of his best feats, is that Rayleigh is the former right hand man to Rosa, and Rayleigh was the second strongest character in that crew next to Rosa. And we see that Shanks was inspired by, and Shanks was possibly trained by Rayleigh. And we say how Shanks was probably inspired by Rosa, but Rayleigh probably teased and was probably Shanks master, because that's how I look at things. Because Rosa is a very busy man, he is the king of the party, he is the captain of the crew, so Rosa got other things to do that he won't be training Shanks. So maybe now and then you're so up to probably show Shanks 1 or 2 things, but when it comes to the most part, I believe that Shanks look up to Rosa, but Rayleigh was the person that teaches Shanks the sword skills and haki and other things. And really they also teach Luffy haki. He also teaches Luffy how to fight, how to become a stronger character, and with Luffy definitely became a way stronger character after the 2 years time skip, after really they teach Luffy some stuff. So really being the right hand man to Rosa, really clashing with Whitebeard, clashing with Garp, clashing with Siki, clashing with Rocks, clashing with Sengoku, being the right hand man to Rosa, and possibly facing Khan multiple times. I'm not pretty sure, I'm very sure really is top tier in the verse. And even now, when Blackbeard was trying to get Bo Hancock's Devil Fruit, when Blackbeard did evade, Amazon Lily, when Rayleigh did show up, Rayleigh was showing amazing Conker's haki showcase and feats that Rayleigh did knock out a lot of Marines, a lot of Blackbeard's crewmates with his Conker's haki, and Blackbeard being scared of Rayleigh, and Blackbeard, backing off because he respect the legacy of Rayleigh, even though Rayleigh say that he believed Blackbeard would defeat Rayleigh if they fight, but Blackbeard, knowing Rayleigh's legacy, knowing how strong Rayleigh used to be, Blackbeard don't want to take a chance, and Blackbeard just dip. So the fact that Blackbeard have also at this point, Blackbeard is a Yonko with a 3 to 4 billion bounty on his head. Just defeated Marco, having 2 Devil Fruit, and just being a Yonko in general. Rayleigh could scale off a Yonko. And the fact that Kizaru was not scared to clash with Rayleigh. Kizaru, he was acting normal when he seen Rayleigh. Like, Kizaru did not give a crap. He fought and clashed against Rayleigh for a few minutes. Then Kizaru just dipped, because Kizaru does not have time to fight an old timer, and the fight will be very long. The fight will be very close, but none of them have time or effort to actually fight, and they don't care. And Kizaru just left. So the fact that Kizaru the clash with Rayleigh and people's not talking about that says a lot, because we've seen how Shanks like to speed blitz characters that's way weaker than him, right? He's speed blitz kid, he's speed blitz random pirates. Like, Shanks will try his best to not fight somebody or get into a fight, and I believe that Rayleigh the train and teach Shanks a lot of things. So the fact that Rayleigh, if Kizaru was way weaker than Rayleigh would just speed blitz him, but he didn't. It was an equal 50-50 clash, but then both of them just left the fight because they could not be bothered to. Then another feat was at Marineford when Kizaru was going crazy. Kizaru was clashing with Marco, the same Marco, by the way, that fought King and Queen at the same time for a few chapters. That's Marco's best feat in the verse. Fighting against Queen and King at the same time for a few chapters, and even though Queen and King was not going all out, I believe those two was really not going all out. They wasn't going 100%, but Marco did done that. It's a massive feat. And Marco also clashed against Ake Inu, and that clash was 50-50. Marco did clash against Ake Inu, and later Marco did even land an attack on Ake Inu, the same Ake Inu that the fourth old Whitebeard, but even though it was old Whitebeard, this was old raised Steros upset Whitebeard that just lost his son Ace. So Whitebeard was hot, bro was upset, and Akinu was still holding his ground against a very upset Whitebeard. Just saying, Marco did land attack and he declares with Akinu, but I still believe Akinu would beat Marco in a fight. But Kizaru was having his way with Marco at Marineford. They clashed those two was like the way Oda was doing that arc. It seemed like Kizaru and Marco was fighting each other a lot, and they were having a 50-50. Marco did land a lot of attacks on Kizaru. Kizaru land a lot of attacks on Marco. So Oda, the kind of Dark Marine for like Kizaru and Marco was literally on the same level, and Marco is the right hand man to Whitebeard. And fun fact, Kuzan was fighting Jonju, Diamond Jonju, and Jonju is the second commander of Whitebeard, and he could be the third strongest in the crew behind Marco and behind Whitebeard. So, and Kuzan was destroying Diamond Jonju, and Kizaru and Marco was having a 50-50. That's something that we need to keep in our cup, in our mind, ladies and gentlemen. But let's continue. Then a few chapters later, a few years later, we see that Kizaru was reintroduced to the story when we see Kizaru went to Egghead Island, and Kizaru was like the second main villain, second big boss to fight, and Kizaru fought Year 5 Monkey D. Luffy. And in my opinion, Luffy, because this was like his third time using Gear 5, third time going into Gear 5, because we've seen Luffy, his first time going into Gear 5, he did defeat Kaido, then the second time, he did fought Rob Lucy, and he did defeated Rob Lucy, and the third time was against Kizaru. So in my opinion, Luffy was better, and he had a better control of Gear 5 this time around, and he's a better, like, I believe an anime knowledge, an anime thing. Every time you learn a new transformation, and every time you go into that transformation, over time you will be better and have a better control of that transformation. So I believe Luffy had a way better control of this transformation and been a better with this transformation with Gear 5. I believe Luffy was a little bit stronger when he fought against Kaido the first time. And I believe doing Egghead Island, Kizaru was not going all out. Oda, the kind of nerf Kizaru in my eyes, and the reason is because I believe mentally Kizaru was not there. Because the whole arc, Kizaru was thinking to himself, should I kill him, should I not, I'm going to kill him, as I'm not going to kill him. Then Kizaru break out in tears because Kizaru does not want to kill Dr. Vegapunk, because the whole mission and Saturn was telling Kizaru to go kill Dr. Vegapunk, and we know from some flashbacks that Kizaru, Kuma, Bonnie, and Saturnomi and Dr. Vegapunk was like a family, like a small family, and Kizaru, they love Dr. Vegapunk like a friend, very close friend. Kizaru loved Kuma like a friend, like a brother, and we've seen that when Kizaru learned that Kuma died and all of those stuff happened, Kizaru mentally he was nerfed because he was sad, he was depressed, he didn't know what to do because he first lost Kuma, somebody that's part of his family. Then they say you must go kill your best friend. Imagine you're a cop, right? Your boss say you must kill your best friend that is a criminal. In the eyes of the world government, and in the eyes of the world, your friend is a criminal and he's a bad guy, and you're the cop, and they send you to go kill your friend. But you know your friend is actually not a criminal, he's just a nice person that the cops and the government is painting him in a dark way to make him look like a criminal just to kill him. So Kizaru know for a fact this is my best friend. Dr. Vegapunk is my best friend, I love him so much, and he is a good person. He's a good person with good heart, but the government is painting him as a bad person to kill. So Kizaru was fighting against himself. Should I do it? Should I do the right thing? Or should I do the bad thing? Should I kill him? Should I not kill him? And that was the mentor of Kizaru's brain. Kizaru was doing flips in his head, thinking, what can I do? How can I save Vegapunk? Is he a bad person? Is he a good person? So he was nerfed during the fight, and we see that after fighting Gear 5 Luffy, Kizaru was crying. And if you watch the fight and if you read the fight, Kizaru was not going all out, because I believe Kizaru is also awakened. He is 100% awakened Deathwood user, because if Kuzan and Akainu are awakened Deathwood user, Kuzan is 100% a Deathwood user, because Oda painted Kizaru to be on the same level of Kuzan and Akainu. Oda to paint that picture clear, brothers. And not only that, Kuzan, if both of them is awakened, which I believe Aki knew and Kuzan is, Kizaru is also 100% awakened user. And plus Kuzan was in the Marines and he had his day for a longer period of the other two, because we know Kizaru is the oldest one between the trios, and Kizaru was in the Marines for a longer period of time, which it is confirmed. It's the same. So Kizaru did not done any of his awakening attack. Kizaru, in my heart, I believe Kizaru have future sight. We do not see any future sight abilities from Kizaru, but I don't believe Kizaru have Conqueror's Haki. I do not agree, and I do not believe Kizaru has Conqueror's Haki. But I do believe Kizaru have amazing Obelisk Haki and amazing Armor Haki, which we did not see from Kizaru. And in the whole fight, Kizaru was trying to get away from Luffy to go to Dr. Vegapunk and to kill him. That was Kizaru doing the whole time. Kizaru was not trying to go band for band, hand for hand, box against... No. Kizaru was not trying to box Luffy. Kizaru know Luffy is a Yonko and Luffy is a threat. He's a very powerful character, so you know that for a fact. And Kizaru was not trying to waste his time at fighting a Yonko, and he was just trying to speed blitz and to get to Dr. Vegapunk to kill him, to get this over and done with, because Kizaru do not want to be here long, because he don't care his friends, so you want to get this mission over and done as fast as possible. But he couldn't, because Luffy's right there. And Kizaru was not going all out, and the fight turned into a draw. In my eyes, the fight was a draw. Nobody won the fight. Luffy didn't win the fight. Kizaru did not win the fight, and it was a draw. I believe it was a draw. Then after the fight, we see that Kizaru did give Luffy some food. So that's what I'm saying. Kizaru was mentally, he was not there. Kizaru was not there to fight. Kizaru was nerfed. Mentally, he was nerfed. And Kizaru was not going all out. I believe that. For what? I believe it was a draw. So that's Kizaru now. Now let's talk about who won between Kizaru and Kuzan. But before we get into this, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you've been watching this whole time, you have to like the video and subscribe now. Come on, this video is long. It has been over 20 minutes now, and if you not like the video, if you haven't subscribed, go do it right now. But let's get right into the final say who won between Kizaru and Kuzan. So now we have went through all the feats, everything from Kizaru's side and from Kuzan's side. So let's talk about some few things. I believe Kizaru is way faster, and has a better fight IQ than Kizaru. And I believe Kizaru have a better RBS Haki, because I believe Kizaru have future sight, and I believe Kizaru has just have a better RBS Haki in general. Armor Haki, it might be 50-50, but when it comes to Conqueror's Haki, I believe Kizaru does not have Conqueror's Haki and Kuzan does have Conqueror's Haki. So when it comes to Haki side, I feel like it could be a 50-50, or it could, favor Kuzan, because Kuzan have been training with God for multiple years. Kuzan having Conqueror's Haki, could possibly have Conqueror's Haki, have a better chance of having Conqueror's Haki, and Kuzan just trained with Gobs for multiple years. I just have to give it to Kuzan with Haki, or it's a 50-50, because I could see Kizaru having future sight Haki and Kuzan possibly not having future sight, or his future sight is not on the same level as Kuzan. But Conqueror's Haki, you have to give it to Kuzan, and Kizaru, sorry, no. In my eyes you don't. And when it comes to Devil Fruit wise, I can definitely see it's a 50-50. Both of them being potentially awakened Devil Fruit user, but Kuzan just have shown better feats with his Devil Fruit by freezing oceans. And for the ocean to be frozen, for a long period of time. The fact that his punk has it, half of the island is ice, the other's lava, and the ice part do not melt from the lava. And we know from Green Bow it is possible to train your haki to counter your weakness. With Green Bow to counter most case fire, and Green Bow is made of plants. He's a plant, therefore he's a tree man. And the fact that the fire did not even affect Green Bow, it is possible to train your Devil to out weakness element, and which we have seen Kuzan doing it with his eyes against like an Inu, but we haven't seen Kizaru done that. But in my eyes, Kuzan does have a better feat by fighting against a Yonko, by fighting against Luffy, and outlast in Gear 5, not beat in Gear 5, but end it in a draw, even though Kizaru was not going all out. But make me defend Luffy here before the One Piece community powers can go crazy. I believe Luffy was, even though he had a better hand in and is better with Gear 5 at this point, I believe Luffy was still very tired and still injured from his last fight when he fought against Rob Lucy and fought against Ace Sock early, or Ace Bear early in the arc. We've seen that Luffy fought against Rob Lucy for a long period of time. Then he fought against or clashed with Ace Bear and Ace Hawk for a few chapters, and then he went to go fight Kizaru. So I do believe Luffy was tired. He was like not there physically because he is tired. So that's what I believe what happened. Luffy was now fresh. He was still tired. He was still badly hurt from the other fights. But at the end of the day, it was still a draw. Kizaru and Luffy was a draw. But with Kizaru did defeat Garp with holding back. I believe Kizaru was holding back by not using his Kongsaki, by not using his Galaxy Impact move or something, because I believe Kuzan has an impact move in his arsenal, and not using his Awaken move on Garp. So I believe Kizaru was not going all out. Sorry, not Kizaru. I believe Kuzan was not going all out and he was holding back. But at the same time, there was multiple different characters jumping on Garp, and it wasn't at the first fight, the first time they clashed, it wasn't a 1v1. It was like a 5v1 turned into a 1v1 later on when when Kuzan arrived. Sorry, my brain is getting tired now. Sorry. When Kuzan arrived, then it became a 1v1, but it wasn't a 1v1. At first it was a 5v1, and later Garp got stabbed by Siryu. So Garp was also not at 100% because he got stabbed. He was fighting for a long period before Kuzan showed up to turn it into a 1v1. But Kuzan did defeat Garp, just saying, and at Marineford, Kizaru was having an equal playing field against Marco, the first commander, while Kuzan was destroying the second commander, Diamond Jonju, and even taking his arm off. So that's what I'm saying. Now it has come down to this. We have to look at everything, their feats, their power scaling. Who won in a fight between those two? I have to say Kuzan. I have to say Kuzan will win, just because Kuzan potentially might have Kongsaki, potentially might have an impact move like Garp, like Kobe in his moveset, potentially having those two and being awakened. While Kizaru, I don't believe Kizaru have a impact move like Garp, like Kobe in his arsenal. I don't believe Kizaru have Kongsaki, but he is awakened and he is faster. He has better IQ possibly, but I believe Kuzan just have better control of his devil fruit and better feats and a more powerful output potentially than Kizaru. So that make your winner by a split decision. Kizaru has won this fight. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, if you like this video, you will like my other One Piece video. Please go like my other One Piece video. Please go subscribe to the channel because I want to make this channel survive please like the video and please subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.